Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
Are you ready? Do you want to say, can you count me down?
Sure.
Okay.
100, 99.
Wait a second. No, Josh, that would take No, Josh.
What?
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
That takes a little long. Start from a lower number down. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead. Count me down.
79. 78.
You dog. You doggy dog.
How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Now,
are you in scramble mode?
No. Yes.
Wow. Just with that question, you're in scramble mode.
I don't know. I told my therapist, who you know her as my therapist.
I do.
And she said, I told her, there's no reason why I can't be happy all the time, every minute. There's no reason for me to be panicked.
Right.
And so I'm doing a little bit better with that.
And she said, we're done here.
No, she said, look, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We want you to improve. We want your mental health to improve, but not so much that we stop the sessions. And then she said, because I like to, I enjoy helping you. I also like a little bit of the ka-ching. Isn't that odd?
I think it's weird that she ends every session with, that's our time. And next week, I'll tell you how you hurt my feelings this week.
Well, that's how she gets me.
Exactly.
That's how she gets me.
Yes.
She's not fooling anybody with that. Like the very first time I met her, you have what they call in the business intake. I've just heard someone say that.
Yeah.
And so it's basically, so she was just ascertaining my mental health level, and she goes, "Whoa, this is going to be a toughie." What do you mean? You're not thinking now. I won't even see you if you're not ready to commit to 2 to 4 sessions. What?
By the end of your first session, she was going through boat brochures.
Why would she buy I like that. That was very good. You know why? Because boat and brochures rhymes. And at the prices she charges, I don't know, I'm done. Done with that bit.
Yeah.
But I think I had the bit going. A lot of times I'll go longer with bits with you because I'm avoiding intimacy.
Understand.
Not intimate. When I say intimacy, I don't mean like hugging and kissing, right?
Yeah, I think I'm past that.
What do you mean past it?
I mean, I require no more physical intimacy in my life.
You mean from me specifically?
No, I'm just past the knee-jerk homophobic reaction to anything that might imply some sort of intimacy beyond total cis male heterosexual.
Well, now that you talk about that, you bring up a topic that I wanted to talk about because I tweeted about it, but I watched Johnny Carson's 11th. I didn't mean to watch the anniversary. I just watched it because there was a lot of guests that I wanted to see on there. His 11th anniversary.
Yeah.
And okay, this is the first time I've done it today, but what were we talking about?
I think you were my guess is since it was Johnny Carson's 11th anniversary, it involved homophobia in some way.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. But here's the thing. I am a huge Johnny Carson. I mean, I'm not huge. I mean, I always lie about everything and say that I know more than I do and everything. But I do love Johnny Carson. I have a good feeling about him.
Sure.
I don't know every show, but when you see those classic shows where Burt Reynolds or the one guy is George Goebbels and he's putting the what is he putting in there?
It's just George Goebbels. He's not the Nazi that you're thinking of.
No, but he's funny.
Yeah.
No, he's putting cigarette ashes. It's either Dean Martin, somebody's putting cigarette ashes, or is it Peter Lorre? That was the joke and the hilarious things, right? But when you see it, but I guess I got fooled because this was a pretty horrible show. The monologue was horrible.
Yeah.
He does a bit with Carol Wayne. I am not kidding you. I had to fast forward. It was 12 minutes. No, I have large breasts and I don't know that I have them.
Right.
You little lady. Oh, really? What do you mean I have 2 honkers?
Yeah. No, it was like low grade vaudeville, the shit he did with those sketches.
And you cannot say, no matter what, generationally or anything, that it was great in its time. It was bad.
Yes. No, I agree.
Now maybe he did things like, I'm trying to think of any of them that I like. Art Fern. I guess I didn't like, I mean, he must have, I did like Karnak.
I think Floyd R. Turbo was probably his, his best character.
Are you kidding?
No.
What was that?
It was like dipshit American idiot. Very proud right-wing salt of the earth commentator.
Oh, I think I have heard him.
You'd recognize it, I assure you.
And everything is derivative of Jonathan Winters for him.
Well, no, I mean, certainly Aunt Blabby or whatever was, and, I didn't
want to get ahead of myself.
No, but he did Winters, he did Gleason.
Yes. And so, the monologue was just like terrible.
Yeah.
And then, a couple of times though, I mean, this was not even the 80s. This is 1973. I thought the homophobia for some reason started later. No, it's full throng. I mean, I guess if Dean and Jerry and those guys are going, hello, the hold the dough. I didn't know the king. If they're willing to do that,
right.
I guess all bets are off. Right?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I just didn't have the same assumption as you. I thought homophobia and jokes like this went back a lot longer than that.
Of course they did. I don't know why I'm even thinking. You know what it is? I think it's because
It's because you started noticing about that age.
I still think there was a certain polite thing that they didn't even mention that there was homosexuality in the 50s, so that you had less of maybe.
Well, they didn't acknowledge sexuality, period, on television for a long time.
But by the 70s, he's like, oh, Burt, you look good. Burt comes on with a, First of all, I used to do a bit about Burt Reynolds where I said that Burt Reynolds, like at the end of his career, he lost his jokes and he just had the rhythm. He's like, yeah, I got the divorce and, I get a hovel and Lonnie Anderson gets the mansion, whatever he was saying.
Yeah.
But now I realize that, I'm sitting around and I'm bored. But I realize now that he wasn't, even then he could be horribly unfunny. He was just it wasn't horribly unfunny, but he was like doing this thing where he was like not fake laughing, but laughing because it was too absurd. He was like, this whole show was scary because they had Buddy Hackett.
Burt Reynolds had this thing where he had to sort of act above being Burt Reynolds and be Burt Reynolds at the same time.
And he could be, and part of it I think was that it was funny. It was like a little bit like Dabney Coleman.
Yeah. Or Robert Mitchum. There was some of that kind of cantankerousness.
And the highlights I remember were hilarious because you'd see him on the Johnny Carson.
Did you ever see Burt Reynolds get into a fight, like a water splashing fight with Mark Summers on the panel that time?
No.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Wait, who's Mark Summers?
Mark Summers was like a TV
The Slime
host.
Time guy?
Yeah, he was like a Nickelodeon TV host.
Oh, yeah. I went up against him for Slime Time.
Yeah. And he won.
Oh, that hurt.
But did he? Is the question.
That's true. Yeah, so, I'm sorry, you were saying.
No, it's just a clip worth watching. Because he was just grumpy and cantankerous and a dick. Right.
Well, the thing about this too is that this was a confluence of the worst people. I mean, the people who I sometimes like, but not being good and it being very uncomfortable to watch. So, Buddy Hackett, I don't like Buddy Hackett. I've never liked Buddy Hackett, and I don't know enough about him to dislike him for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know enough. He's never made me laugh. I haven't seen him be funny. I don't like that movie. What's the movie where they're all doing wacky and they're in planes and 100 automobiles?
Mad World.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's before my time. But so I can see that he could be funny, but he was nothing but nasty.
Yeah.
And like hiding this personality, like as if these dirty jokes that he wanted to tell were the most important, were like, oh, we can't do what I'd like to do. You mean your hacky dick jokes? I mean, it was like, and he had this edge to him, Buddy Hackett, like real, I've heard that he was mean.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And you can see, and there's this, I don't know if it's true. If it's true, it's a horrible thing that he got up on stage and told his son, let me show you how to do it. I mean, if anything even like that happened, he should have been, excommunicated. But what just all you could tell was this unpleasant side to him.
Right.
Has he ever made you laugh?
Absolutely.
I know you have to point out stuff to me then.
It's not a hill I care to die on or fight on, really. It's just a pretty binary thing. Yes, he's made me laugh many times. I think Buddy Hackett is funny. I also think he was a huge dick, and I think that's part of why I think he's funny.
You know what's interesting though? The way I can absolutely see I can laugh at the same things you're laughing at, but in this thing, it came off so mean and nasty. And also you didn't know what he was laughing at. So it was like, more like he was like mocking the whole proceedings, which was fine too.
Yeah.
It was the most amazing show. It was the most amazing show I've seen in a lot of ways because it was 90 minutes and I'd never seen in a long time. So everything they did was weird, but I mean, Dean Martin was great, even though he was weird, but he was funny.
But I mean,
it's
so easy to romanticize the old Tonight Show because, you know, of the 40 years of clips of the good moments you've seen, but you know, it was still an every fucking night venture, you know, and that just, you're playing the averages there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, was there any other guest though that I could, no, I guess there was I was just so surprised. Oh, Rickles came out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I mean, I love him, but it just wasn't, it's interesting that I think my favorite Rickles are the ones where he went like on Letterman or later Carson.
Yeah.
You know, here he's like 42 or whatever he is. It's just and he's doing a little bit of the, let me tell you something, Johnny. You are like a little bit too much schmaltzy stuff. It was weird. The whole thing was weird. I mean, that could happen to me or you or anybody. So it's
I think there was lots of things going on there in the mid 70s on Carson, in the sense that, I mean, first of all, everything is uglier because it's the 70s. Like the set design is ugly. Everyone's clothes are ugly.
True.
So it has an almost Fellini-esque quality, you know, just to begin with. But I think also it was just like the huge wide variety of drugs that everyone was taking at that point, you know, like Vegas guys were all on pills and people were taking you know, it's just, there was like a lot more going on in people's bloodstreams at that time, I think.
Well, I also noticed that the writing of the monologue jokes, I mean, they were the worst jokes I think I've ever heard in my, like a 4-year-old could.
Yeah, it was schlocky garbage. And that's, you know, and that's why Johnny Carson's main comedic signature was hedging a bad joke, you know.
And this audience did not like it. I mean, this was the other thing. The audience really did suck. And they kept talking about, and Buddy Hackett, during the commercial, I guess, lectured the audience. So I could relate to Buddy in that way. But even when he was doing that, it was such a weird energy. But the audience literally did suck from the first joke on. So it was just fascinating to watch. It was really, I mean, for what I could watch was the Carol Wayne thing. And then she came on as a guest because Sammy Davis couldn't make it.
Oh, really?
So he sends this large,
Speaking of things in people's bloodstreams at the time.
Yeah, 73, and horrible. He says it's ugly looking. It's a horseshoe arrangement of flowers. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So then he has to interview Carol Wayne for a whole other segment, which was not interesting.
Yeah.
And so it was like they don't have enough time to fill the 90-minute anniversary show.
Yeah. But it was like an 11th anniversary.
Right. Nobody called any. This was also fascinating because Rickles and the Buddy Hackett were basically going, this guy's great, Johnny. But Johnny wasn't considered to be the king even that many years in, right? That's how it seemed like it. Like, you're doing great, but it was like.
I don't know. I think by the mid 70s, Johnny was kind of the king. By the time Johnny moved to LA, he was.
What is 11 years? 11 years, 62?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe they were just having right. He wasn't.
No, I think it was the opposite. I think everybody, those guys who had become such regulars on Carson, it became a clubhouse for them. So they were just especially at ease there and they weren't prepping, you know, because they knew Johnny would eat up whatever they brought.
Right. But the network, you know what it is? Maybe the network isn't thinking about anniversary shows. You know, there's like, it's so part of our life, you know,
it was an 11th anniversry. It wasn't, you know, it was just like, how do we make this one show during the year slightly more interesting? Let's call it the anniversary show.
That's just interesting you said it because I thought that Letterman and none of them did every year. Did they do an anniversary show?
No.
They just did big ones maybe.
Right.
Or if they did that at all. I'm trying to think I feel like Letterman
they had like 10th anniversary special and stuff.
Right. Oh, it was so much fun to watch this. But now that you bring up the point about how bad the set was and how bad the suits, it's interesting. It was like what you're saying. I love because Buddy Hackett almost. This was 73. Buddy Hackett almost looked like a hippie. Like not a hippie, but what his version of it would be.
Yeah, no, he did have the middle-aged hippie thing going there.
It's so hilarious. And even Rickles, not to the same degree, but just Rickles was younger.
Right.
And a young 42, like.
Right, but even at 42, they were all trying to look younger at that point.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sure they were because that must have been an awkward age because they're in the middle of the 60s. I mean, because the 60s went into the 70s, in my opinion.
I mean, and comedy was Carlin and Pryor, and at that point, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't Vegas guys.
Well, and if you think about it, when Saturday Night Live came in, one of their main things was they did kind of mock Carson a lot, or maybe he took it personally. But he was kind of mocked. I don't know directly
they didn't really directly mock Carson very much. There was really no win in doing that at NBC in the 70s.
No. But by the time Dana Carvey got in,
yeah, well, that was 15 years later.
Right. So that was when he was even right. I'm thinking about me reading the book about Saturday Night Live. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Where they say. I don't know which book it was, where he says he's not crazy about the show.
Yeah.
You know, and then there was Ebersol, and I think I'm mixing up a couple of anecdotes. I don't think he ever was crazy about the show or cared about it.
Well, I mean, part of it was that they took one of they used to rerun his show in that slot.
Oh, that's right. Saturdays and the best of Carson.
Yeah.
I just love this kind. I don't know that there's any money in this, or I can write a book about it, or if it's a good podcast topic. But God damn it, I could see everybody's.
On the Showbiz podcast network. There's the Carson show.
What are you talking about? You making stuff up?
No, I'm not.
Who's Showbiz? I'm kidding. What is he doing?
Alex's company has had a Carson podcast for the entire time we've been.
What is that even? Who is the host?
I don't know. What is your fucking problem?
Hey, why are you don't turn on me? I hope this turning on me is not going to be permanent because I don't deserve it. I've worked very hard. Sure, I gave you 2 days notice. You're all bent out of shape because I gave you 2 days notice. I'm going on a glamping tour. Now, what is glamping?
We've covered this.
But I don't understand it. I want to be in a hotel.
I don't know that you're officially glamping.
I don't want to be anything roughing.
I think you're just. I don't get the sense that you. Why would your brother ask you to come rough it?
He wouldn't unless it was some kind of horrible prank.
If it as a prank, it's pretty good.
No, but I'm having real flexology.
I mean, I frankly hope that he sets you loose in the wood and hunts you.
What? Huh? What? Wait, what? I still laugh every time the Shingles. They have various versions of the Shingles commercial,
right?
And where they delay the punchline, and it always gets me.
Yeah,
Shingles what?
But you still haven't gotten it right, though.
Okay, give it to me.
Shingles can be what?
I noticed when I watch my true crime that there are various levels of the true crime shows. Some of them are excellent,
yeah,
and some of them are terrible. And the ones that are terrible have actors recreating who are poorly acting.
Yeah.
That's what they think a recreation is.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you first. Like that.
Right. Yeah, I hate recreations like poison for the most part.
But then you couldn't watch the shows I watch, which you don't.
No, I don't.
And I'm not saying I'm better than you because of that. I mean.
Yeah, no, there's other things.
However, I would like to say to you, and I think you'll agree with me with this, whether you like true crime or I sound like Rachel Maddow, regardless of what your feelings about Trump are, I don't know how anybody watches these stupid Law and Order shows. These shows weren't that good to begin with. They were formulaic. How can you watch anything that's contrived when you can watch the serial killer, the watercolor show, the serial killer's cooking show? You know what I'm saying? There are so many more advanced things that you can watch. They're
first
realistic.
of all, people like pictures.
True. Good point.
But I think it's the predictability that has cemented them in the hearts of millions.
But it's, I mean, I know that you don't watch it, but who's watching the Marisha? I love Marisha Hargitay, but the other guy, what is that? Who's buying that he's going to go rogue, or how could you still be? The show's been on 55 years.
You know substantially more about it than I do.
You think I do? Dun, dun, dun.
Again, you got it wrong. Gong, gong.
Oh, well, what's dun, dun, dun? There is no dun, dun, dun?
That's just the generic something big.
And then what's the Curb Your Enthusiasm thing that just drives me when he overuses the trombone? What is he always going? Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, something like that.
We hate him. I hate him now. Oh, sorry. I went too far. Well, I went too far.
No, I think you're right on the right track.
I'll tell you why I'm on the right track. He's a genius. We can all agree he's a genius, or if you want to. But a genius is not a genius who's a real, like a Einstein level genius. Doesn't keep doing this bit over and over. Pretty good. That means the emperor wears no clothes. Nobody on the set's going to tell this guy, "Hey, Larry, when you scream like an idiot, you're not that funny."
No, he's the last several seasons of he's pandering to himself.
I got the feeling that you turned darkly against the show. Like you just don't even care. I mean, like it annoys you that it's still going.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't annoy me that it's still going. I don't give a shit.
Right.
But it's I'm not involved.
Here's what I think, and I may be wrong about this because as you know, I thought you had I thought now you said I was paranoid because you were plotting against me. Right.
Right.
Where was I going with this? Come on, save me one more time.
Idea. It was Larry David, and then now I'm against you. I think it was your subconscious, like setting off an alarm that you were making fun of someone too powerful in show business.
Hey, I know what you're saying. This is exactly right. You did it for me. That motherfucker. I don't want to curse, but that motherfucker. I like to say motherfucker. That guy would call fucking people who were talented actors over and over and over again. He'd bring them to that stupid Lantana building and have them prove again they were funny. Now they could play the waiter. That's Larry. Okay, I know I'm being too paranoid, but I think that Larry David always had a complex about his comedy, even worse than I did. I kept going.
Yeah.
And so he wants to get back. He still has rage about it. So he wants to humiliate you. I really think he does.
Yeah, I don't really have any pushback on that. I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I think
he's not Hitler. He's not a Hitler.
But I think
person.
Seinfeld's kind of the same way.
Yes, they seem to be two highly unpleasant, smug guys who, when you watch a bad, I used to love that show. I do love that show. I do love it. But when you watch a bad Seinfeld, it is not good.
No,
it's not good.
No,
especially for them to be so much like their geniuses. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't act like you're a genius if you really are going to tell me that Kramer's hat fell into the mayor's soup. You know? Don't give me lectures over at the Museum of Television and Broadcasting.
It's so stupid, it just might be genius.
Did you ever go in?
Did I ever go in for what?
For the Curb Your Enthusiasm show?
No one's ever cared about me as a performer.
Hold on a second. You went one way. I brought you one way. You went the whole route. If you were not cared about as a performer, why were you in one of the seminal, and I just want to say the word seminal over and over again, seminal TV comedies of my of the 90s?
And why did I leave after the first season?
Because of the competing egos of the show, not because of the work you were doing, and not because of how TV friendly you were, or nothing about.
Okay, and did. Why was I never heard from again?
Because that caused you to get angry. I hate these people. And so that charisma that you had, that powered you to the clubs, all of a sudden you say, you know what? I'm 21, I'm angry.
Yes.
This will not stand. Yeah. I was treated poorly in a work situation.
Yes.
And I can't take any more of this.
It's not so far off.
I know, it's good. It's good.
Except I was 18.
Oh, 18. Wait, you were 18 when you were on that show?
I was 17 and 18, yeah.
Okay, now you're just rubbing it in. I mean, come on. You peaked too early, Josh.
No
Anybody
shit.
could. I know, but you should have told yourself as you were walking around, "Hey, I got 7 gigs in Toledo. This is gonna be a bump down. This is gonna be a come down at one point."
Yeah.
You were a child, what's it called? Prodigy.
I don't call it that, but
A comedy prodigy. You absolutely were, because you had the confidence of someone who that had the joy and the confidence came together. It was what was meant to happen.
yeah, no, I think it was at that time, for sure.
But you know what you're ready for now, and I'm ready for, Josh?
A slow death.
No. What is going to be our second act?
I think we're.
Or is this our second act?
No, I think we're the second act's in the rearview mirror, Andy.
Oh, and so this is our denouement?
Yeah, it's more of a denouement for sure.
But it's one of those grand exits.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
I think Blaze of Glory certainly applies.
What are the odds, and be honest with me, that I'm going to collapse and die from a diabetic coma?
In the woods of Utah.
That would be good. There would be something. Look, I don't say you should hate the rich. I don't say you should root against me.
Yeah.
But the idea that I'm going to some, like a foot away from the Grand Canyon, 2 feet away from Bryce, and 7 feet away from Zion,
And a Mormon bear.
First of all, Josh, did you tell me watch out for the drug laws in Utah?
No.
Watch out for the drug laws in Utah, because you could go to jail.
Yeah.
Well, what should I bring? I'm bringing things, though.
Well, you're on a fucking private plane, I think you're saying.
Yes, I just wanted you to say it so that I didn't bring it up again. But so I know I can see that people would root against this, but this is craziness that's happening here. But I am going to have fun, though.
Yeah.
What do you think of the whole thing?
I think I'm very happy for you.
I think you are happy for me.
I am. Of course I am.
I mean, that doesn't mean you should see. That doesn't mean you have to enjoy the 2 days' notice.
No, I don't care
Nobody
about that.
likes
I've
that.
already got it covered. Jen Kirkman's coming in the second hour.
Wait a second, but not originally on Friday. Were you thinking of having her be on the show?
She's on the show, the second hour of this show.
No, but I mean beyond the thing.
What are you talking about?
Beyond the playing back.
What?
Wait, I thought you were going to play the phone messages I sent her.
No, I played that in last week's show.
Oh, she's live?
She's going to be the second hour, yes, with me.
Oh my! And I'm out.
You're out. Exactly.
This is unbelievable, Josh. How's my voice up? How's my voice up in this register?
Funnier, actually.
So why are you so angry at me? Why didn't you face me?
I'm not angry.
Ho, ho, ho. Ha. Here's the messages I put out.
Yeah.
You ready? I want you to be honest with me. I want our friendship to last. But if you ever say anything negative about me, I'll keep it in the back of my mind forever.
Okay.
And wait for it to come out. Like when you said to me that during the middle of our fight, that's not it at all. Actually, I don't think you said that. You texted it. And you know what my grand plan is? My grand plan is I bring out the worst in everybody else, and then somehow that's good for me. I don't know. That was bad.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a grudge point, Thee. That's not it at all.
I don't know. It's a bit that's no. I think you're just so frustrated. Here's the thing. I enjoy portraying myself as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Until it goes into the second or third month of the bit, and then I start to get the resentment.
Right. How am I the bad guy?
Oh, I'm the bad guy? Oh, I'm the bad guy because I said I was the bad guy? Not so fast, Junior. I feel good. I don't know what the thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's because I know I'm really going to be on vacation next week.
Right.
You know, this is difficult, the podcast, for me on my end, because of all the details I have to take care of.
All right. Do you know how to roll a sleeping bag?
Look, don't fucking... First of all, you don't realize that I don't know what kind of... I went to summer camp and had to go on overnight hikes And so I've done all these things, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And it never got better or easier.
Right.
When I was 9 years old, I saw a guy in Hiking and Pioneering show me how to de-venomize a snake.
Yeah.
First of all, does the words hiking and pioneering have anything, do they ring a bell for you?
Hiking and Pioneering?
Yeah, that was the name of that was the name of, I think it was taken from the Boy Scouts or something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm aware of hiking.
But you're not familiar with pioneering. But that was it. So I slept outside with the bugs, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Now, what is your experience?
I went to summer camp as well, and we did do overnight trips, canoe trips. We did.
We did too.
Like 3-day canoe trips.
Did you go down the Delaware River? No, you weren't born on the East Coast.
No, it was,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry. I went down the Delaware River.
Yeah.
You with rapids.
I think we were on the St. Croix at one point.
That's got to be, that's like Wisconsin or something.
It
right?
is, exactly.
Thank you. That's right. I just was thinking, where are you going to go camping where you're from?
All right.
And then my brain started to work.
Right.
It's pretty nice up there.
Perhaps the state full of woods and lakes.
Yeah, maybe one of the, perhaps you will choose one of the 1,000 lakes.
10,000.
10,000
And that's
lakes.
a gross underestimation, by the way.
Is it underestimation?
Yes.
What do you mean? How
There's
much? How many
more
are
like
there?
17,000, I once heard. With global warming, take 1,000 off the top.
Now, was Land O'Lakes butter before the state of, or did they name it after?
Sorry, part of me died inside.
I took that as a challenge. I really enjoyed that because the truth is I don't like silences because I have problems with myself.
Yeah.
Because most people don't have problems with themselves. So most people don't think.
No, but all comics have problems with silence.
That's probably true. Yeah. Yes. That is true. I thought that I was more tied into the audience than I think even Jesus was.
Yeah.
There was a funny joke on Saturday Night Live about Jesus. Something about Catholics and Jesus. It was very funny.
It's ironic that the funny joke on Saturday Night Live would be about a miracle.
It was not a good show last night. I watch every show. It's something is happening with the writing, like with the direction of the writing.
Yeah.
Like no one's in charge. Speak to Steve Higgins about it and see what he says.
I will. I'll give him a shot.
I do root for the show because there's a lot of funny people on the show, and there's funny women.
There's just a lot of people on the show.
Yeah. But the bits, the sketch, yeah, you're absolutely right. The opening sketch was just a tremendous mistake. This is where I think they do not benefit from having nobody at the helm the entire time they show. Lorne Michaels isn't at the helm.
Although he was caught on camera at the beginning of a sketch last night, I saw.
What was he doing?
He was wandering in, bossing someone around about something.
I loved about a year ago on CNN where Jeff Zucker wandered into the background of the set, and it was so funny to me. Stumbling around, he looks around, but he has that look like, look, I can be anywhere I want.
That's right. I'm not Mr. Bean.
Who?
Mr. Bean.
Oh, Mr. I don't think I've ever watched. Who is that guy?
Rowan Atkinson.
Is he? And he's very funny.
He is very funny.
I don't know his stuff. I would have to have watched Mr. Bean.
Or the Black Adder.
Didn't watch that either, and I don't want to pretend I have, but I'm going to write it down.
Black Adder is probably a better watch than Mr. Bean.
Cool.
I mean,
and do you find
Mr. Bean is slapstick essentially?
Does the Black Adder stand up?
I haven't watched it in years, so I can't really answer that. But
I loved Faulty Towers. I know that's not like a segue that makes sense, but boy, I love that show.
Yeah, if Faulty Tower stands up, Black Adder probably does.
Yeah, it's weird that I'm not.
Father Ted, another very funny.
Yeah,
British.
Now, Father Ted. The problem with the Father Ted thing is the guy who created Father Ted has become a monstrous anti-trans person.
Oh, fuck him then.
Who else is a monstrous anti-trans person is J.K. Rowling, and many celebrities have fallen into this hole of they don't understand what the trans people are doing, and they just say they shouldn't be doing it.
All right.
And a lot of comics have, like Cleese fell into it. Just people don't know anything about trans people. So they figure they have to come out against it.
Yes, let's default to the hateful position.
It's so weird, though.
It is.
It is just so weird.
It is really weird.
And I think Bill Maher, I can't believe he's going to go on for, I mean, I know he's gone on forever, but it's worse and more like as if he's a right-wing. I didn't see the show, but he's doing about what's wrong with ivermectin, or I don't know what he's doing.
All right.
But I don't watch him, though, and I know you don't watch him.
I do not any longer. I don't. I used to. I had a long period where my DVR would grab the show, and then I wouldn't watch it. Now I don't even record it to not watch it.
But it was a time period where I watched it every week. I could never. I can't. He is worse than he's ever been, and that just makes it weird that he's on HBO. It's like what's it called when your friends are in charge of the network or something?
Nepotism.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like there's no reason? I guess are they trying to get the Trump crowd? Or are they trying to get?
Well, I mean, there's no reason to cancel it either because it gets every fucking week it gets all this internet.
Yeah,
it's like he trends for 3 days.
That's true. That's true. But stick it over on Showtime.
Put it on Max.
Is that Cinemax?
No, that's HBO Max.
I have HBO Max now,
yes,
even though I had it before.
Yes. Did you watch the Sopranos movie?
No. How was it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh.
I hear it's
when
not
did it
so
come
good.
Out?
This week.
It's not so good?
This weekend. But it's on HBO Max as well as in theaters.
The thing about it is, I would say anytime, no matter who's doing it, the fact that you can try and do it again is going to be always hard. Because that was the greatest show ever. So even if you go back into that, it's like Scorsese maybe going back into the gangster thing once too many.
I don't know when he did Better Fellas.
No, he did. Didn't he do a thing where everybody gained 300 pounds, or I think you're thinking of
The Biggest Loser.
I laughed sincerely, and then at the end of the laugh, I realized I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
Not really. I am not dead inside. First of all,
nothing a week camping can't fix.
Glamping.
I think it's clamping you're doing.
I am going to bring pot in various forms, just not smoking it.
Please admit to your crimes on the radio.
What are they going to do? You think there's a guy from the TSA now going, breaker 7. We got a 211 that's going to happen tomorrow at Burbank. 211 what is a 211? I know you know it.
It's a number you call to get your garbage picked up.
That's 311.
Oh, okay.
I want to say something to you, Josh, that you may or may not be impressed with. I have walked many miles in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I know I've said this before. It gives you a whole different feeling about, like, I know these neighborhoods now.
Yeah.
I know them like the back of my shoe.
Do you like us?
I like us.
Yeah.
We're a little white.
Yeah.
But I like us. Yeah. Well, we're not as white as we used to be.
No, it's changing a little bit, and I like that.
Yeah. Although I certainly don't want any Peruvians. I'm not prejudiced, but the Peruvians.
Please, yes. If there's anything I hate, it's racists and Peruvians.
Look, I'm a nice guy, right? But these Peruvians are fucked up, right? I don't even know if the Peruvians are a good new group to make the Polish people. There's no good group.
Probably.
You can't do that joke anymore.
They got Segura, though.
What's that?
They got Segura, though. The Peruvians.
Not for real.
Yeah, his mom's Peruvian. That's why he speaks Spanish.
Oh, I thought he speaks on top. Of course, his name is Segura.
He does shows in Spanish now too, because he wants to find all the money.
This guy must be making $70 million a year.
Yes, that's why he moved to Texas.
Oh, he's like Rogan now. Not like Rogan, but like the tax version of that. Right?
Yes.
What do they not charge over there? Is it property tax or
it's state tax?
Why have a state then?
Well, in the case of Texas, I'm with you.
What a disgusting, horrible state. And there's so many great things happening there. That's the thing that's sad. You have Austin. You have wonderful things. It's changing, though. And only Beto O'Rourke. Is that his name?
Beto
O'Rourke. Beto
O'Rourke is the test version of Beto O'Rourke.
I got that joke. I just want to tell you I'm better because I got that joke. Although I'm not that. I didn't know when they said the Delta variant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Is that the Greek alphabet?
Yes.
Okay. What's alpha, beta? What's the third?
Let's go gamma.
Oh, Delta. Oh, gamma.
I don't know, but I'm just going to throw in a gamma.
Well, that was very similar to the.
You know what? I don't know an iota about the Greek alphabet.
Whoa! Is that Greek?
Sure.
Iota?
Sure.
Well, my father took
iota
Latin.
$50. Am I right? I'm a dad.
My dad spoke Greek and Latin, and he let you know it.
Yeah.
I really don't want to I don't really want to come across like my dad was an unpleasant person. Did you meet my dad?
I did, yes.
Yes, at the wedding.
Yes.
I just can't even believe how long life has been. But he was a pleasant man. But he did think he did think highly of himself at times.
Well, he had a certain Joey Nichols quality to him.
I'll go 5 cents.
Yes.
But he was funnier, way funnier.
Yes, for sure. No, I mean, I found him to be a delight, but he was at his son's wedding, so.
And he came out and he said, "Oh, my son, I didn't know my son Robert would hire writers." But when my dad said parenthetically at my wedding, I thought I was, Joan, can you stop chomping for 1 minute? My mother's eating furiously during my father's toast.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but
no, I'm bringing it back for you. Joan, could you stop chomping for a second? What a great family.
There's no one safe from the spray of his shotgun.
Joan, she was. Why is she chomping? The woman never ate anything. Yeah. She couldn't eat things. She always was agonizing over food. But my father is giving a heartfelt toast to my mother. That's when she has to chomp down the food.
It's a little something called hostility, Andy.
The night before the wedding, they came into town. I look out my window. All of a sudden, we're trying to get ready for, the night before. My mother's making a beeline from the room. We're trying to hide. She has to ask Susan, "Can I wear this dress?"
Yeah.
The first second in town. That's what she asked.
All right.
Oh my God. I miss it now. I miss her though.
Yeah.
I really, no, I'm working out in therapy. My therapist said something very good. She said, what you need to do is understand what your mother's role in your life was, and then, resolve that.
Right.
Be okay with that. Because I have decided, and you probably will agree with it, I have decided that all rage is kind of from the same thing. The rage is like frustration at yourself, basically, when it gets to, for me, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like goes beyond, it's not the thing that's in front of me. It's the thing that it represents. And I want to eliminate, I don't want to say I'll never have rage, but I would like to not have rage.
Right. Well, I think, part of it is, and this is just my belief, is that most of our ugly emotions are fear-based.
Yes.
So when you separate how much of it, when you separate anger and fear into two different categories, they both become less intense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when I watch a lot of these true crime things, as you know, it's like a lot of these serial killers, and I'm not saying I'm a serial killer, but it's like these are metaphors. You can learn from these people. I'll be like, you can say, boy, those serial killers have rage, right? But a lot of these serial killers or psychopaths, their fathers or their mothers were so horrible to them that kind of contributed to pushing them over the edge.
Yeah.
Because they got humiliated so much in their lives.
Right.
I'm not talking about me, but it's just when you're scared. I became scared of my parents and scared of being abandoned.
Yeah.
But they weren't overtly beating us.
Right.
So I can't imagine what it would be like. Some of these things, like when you hear these serial killer things, you just can't believe the lives that these people had. It's like how you always the reason why I'm against the death penalty, but like you can see just can you pull back from all of these things and see how these things happened. You know, they don't just pop out of the womb, serial killing.
Yeah, no. I mean, most damaged people were damaged by somebody. And
sometimes even by, like with Jeffrey Dahmer, they say he was abused by a next door neighbor. So sometimes, not that his parents were great, but sometimes it can even be the parents didn't do anything. But some of these parents, right. Holy moly, they are almost, in many cases of the serial killers, the father or the mother was so horrible. They were almost that, their parents were almost that bad. They were almost killers, even though they didn't kill. They weren't murderers.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful that my parents did not drop me down the thing, lock me in an area.
Well, I mean, I think it's a rite of passage in adulthood, I think. And I think it's harder when you don't have kids yourself. To kind of realize that your parents, you know, their shortcomings were based on their shortcomings, you know, not based on their decisions to do something poorly, you know.
Although when that happens,
but like I said, when you have kids, you know, there's so many analogous situations that come up in life to your, you know, that it's much more stark,
right?
When you're a parent and going, oh, my parents faced moments like this too, and they handled it well or good or bad, you know. But right. You go, I never considered I would be facing this situation. You know, it's not like something I could have prepared for.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's like,
so have a kid, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you have a kid,
I do.
But you know what? You're very. I don't want to make it like a 1-to-1 comparison, but. You are very observant about human behavior and animal behavior. So it's like not everybody, it's like that's one of the reasons why you're so great with dogs, because you kind of like detach yourselves, not like you can look at them not even bemusedly. You just like to identify their behavior.
Yeah. No, I'm a very observant person. That's part of my makeup.
Right. And that makes, I could be more observant if I wasn't. I can be observant, but because have narcissistic tendencies, the self-absorbing can stop you from that. But your whole life, you were almost always observing in a way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's, I mean, yes, I'm more interested in how other people are reacting to a situation than what's going on in me a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yes. And, you know, I realized for myself that, I don't know if I told you this, but there's this person who did a lot of advances in psychopath research. He was taking these pictures of brains, and he took a picture of his own brain, and he saw how his own brain was very much like a psychopath. And he did more and more research in it, and it's like, in his particular case, he has a brain that looks like these other brains, but he's not a psychopath because because that's not how it works. It just doesn't work like that's your brain. But he was explaining how he was trying to find out how other people in his life thought about him. He had to ask them because in his normal daily life, he doesn't care. Right. In other words, so in his life, he goes, I haven't, you know, but I've been happily married for 30 years. But in his life, he's actually able to use this not caring thing to his advantage, right? Whereas me, I'm thinking about everything everybody's thinking. The whole thing is fast. It just fascinates me.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, I feel like I have a slight sociopathic streak in that I turn emotions into data very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm sure that it does seem that way. And I'm able to see why I'm wrong. Like because of the OCD and the ADD, I'm able to step outside of every conversation and think why each person thinks the other person is an asshole, or each person thinks, well, what they're thinking, or it's like I actually can sometimes see things.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's at the cost of engaging in the thing. It's
at the cost of engaging in the thing, and of course, I'm over I'm over, and in other words, I'm overseeing.
Right.
You're
misdiagnosing sometimes.
I'm misdiagnosing. But and what I'm saying is it can be an advantage every once in a while. Not in my case so much.
Yeah, the good thing about it is, in fact, you are sensitive to other people's feelings. The bad part about it is that, like we said, you misdiagnose sometimes and therefore create negativity where there is none.
Right. Absolutely. There's no question about it. But, my mind went blank again.
That's all right.
It happens at any time. It happens at any time. What commercial I can't, I know. I like TV. I've said this to you a million times. I do really think TV is great. You have programming, you have procedurals.
Yeah.
But
so what's your problem?
It's the commercials.
Oh.
Ow, it's not TV, not TV. It's those commercials that get me. It's not TV, not TV. It's those commercials that get me.
Okay, and the one that's worse than the Prevagen is the lady, and God bless her. Oh, she used to be an actor. She was on Blossom, but she's like, I don't just play a brainy person. I'm a neuroscientist. And so when I saw the things in the Riva, they said, more brain power. I said, yes, please. I don't like that kind of intellectual crap.
Yeah.
Is she really claiming that she thinks Nariva, as a neuroscientist, is going to help her think?
She appears to be claiming that.
No. I think she's rationalizing it to make money.
That may be.
And I'm through with you. I got so mad the other day.
My embryonic is dead to me.
I was so mad the other day because I was back all the way I could go in the past, and it was just as the kid was running through the kitchen for my favorite commercials. I couldn't go back. Well, he looks happy. Oh, does he? Oh, will he? I'm very much older. Hi, I should be your father, but I creepily am your husband in this commercial.
Aren't you sweet?
Well, I know that you say that because you are repulsed by me.
I am.
If this were real life, be the last person you would sleep with would be your grandpa.
Please do not touch me with your decaying hands.
Oh, really? Don't you don't you get turned on by how I rub an apple against my old nipples? Oh, that commercial is so good. And then the guy at the end, how do they do it? Can you explain to me the special effects of how he gets the apple? The lawyer gets the apple.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
It's a prop apple. So. They spent $40,000 on that prop apple.
I hope the Burbank firm has no clients. They must have clients because they're advertising.
Maybe.
You need to get a level. You need to get a life. You look crooked.
You need to get an agent.
I need to get better work. I need to not do Medicare supplemental insurance commercials. I used to be Joe Namath. I'm entitled. I should have had a better retirement plan when I played in the National Football League, but they didn't give me enough money. So now I'm telling you, you may not be getting every dollar that you should. Apologize for my impressions.
Yeah. Well,
it's not something you accept.
It's not really.
I feel that you're winding up. I'm
kind of winding up, if we're into just the random commercial spew.
Random? I worked on this bit all week. Okay, but now we're not doing letters. It's a different thing. There's no letters this week, right?
There's no letters this week.
So then there's no way that you can hang up on me effectively because I already know that you're doing a second part of the show.
Yeah, I am.
So there's no way. So I could hang up on you.
You could.
That would be the way to do it.
But it would leave a scar.
Oh.
So have a good trip this week. I hope it's fun.
Oh, thank you. I think was very I'm less nervous about it now, but I think it's going to be fun.
I don't think there's any reason to be nervous. I think
nothing. There's no reason.
I think you're going to be in excellent hands.
And I will.
But you bought bear spray though, right?
That does scare me. Maria Bamford. They say, Maria, is there anything you're scared of? Bears.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with her on that.
That's okay. I mean, they can't get through a tent.
Did you ever got a backpack of mine? I'm happier than I like to be. I can't afford relaxing. People get talked into a zombie state of mind. We're citizens of nowhere. The truth is out there. We're living on the edge of time. But I got a ticket to Roswell. Yeah, I got a ticket to Roswell. A bad case of being in the wrong place. It's gonna be different this time. My mother and my father claim I'm their daughter, but I'm convinced they're lying. Others feel like I do. I know they'll be there too, waiting in the sand. I'll meet them on a big ship that takes us on a trip to a place we'll understand. I got a ticket to
I'm Jesus-ing it up over here. I just poured myself a glass of wine and a glass of water.
Nice.
Because I don't know how to turn one into the others. Anyway.
If Jesus would have went the other way with it, he never would have made it out of the bar.
You sure know a lot about Jesus.
Don't I? Oh, no, I don't, I think is the
Well, he was one of your people.
Yeah. Until the rubber hit the road.
Are we on the air? Are we live?
Yeah, sure. Let's be on the air.
Is this a Mark Maron thing? Are you doing the Mark Maron thing where you're just like, you just start in the middle of the conversation and someone's like, is this recording?
Yeah, sure.
First of all,
I just pick the best in, really, is what I do.
I want to say, we're both holding up pretty well. I guess we're still in that shock that Andy has died.
I'm afraid I think you might have heard the wrong thing. He's actually at a luxury resort that he took a private jet to.
Wait, is that a euphemism for heaven?
Well,
wait, no. Wait, be very serious with me.
Okay.
That's not a euphemism for heaven. Andy took a private jet to a luxury resort. That's why
you're here. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he passed.
I know. I shouldn't have, I wanted you to
say
yes.
Oh my God,
yes. I wanted
so
you to say yes.
Alive.
So, maybe I oversold the death thing.
I'm so happy he's alive. God, I had a whole speech planned.
Well, you can still do the speech.
Maybe I'll do it towards the end, but what a great guy he was.
I mean,
oh my God!
You can, no matter what, hold on to the speech because it'll be useful soon, one way or the other.
I thought the type 2 diabetes had gotten him.
Yeah, I understand. With the bagels and the soft serve.
Now, can we make fun of him for 4 seconds about the luxury resort?
Yeah. Oh God, I was hoping for half an hour.
Okay.
His brother's very wealthy, as you know from the show.
Well, it's so funny because I know that you on a recent episode, Andy, or someone asked you if you believed in miracles, and you said not in a religious sense, but that miraculous things happen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the miraculous thing tied in with Andy and his rich brother.
Okay.
So I don't know when this airs, but you and I are speaking right now tonight. So a week ago, I'm in New York City, and a bunch of gal pals and I that had been, friends since the 90s in the comedy scene in New York went out to dinner. One of my friends, her name's Lisa Delarios, very funny. She lives in LA, but she happened to be in New York when I was there. Anywho, for some reason, I know why it came up. She was going to upstate New York to celebrate with Bobby Tisdale. It's his birthday. I don't know if you know who Bobby Tisdale is.
I just know the name, and I can't.
When I tell you, you're going to be like, oh my God.
All right.
In the comedy world, but he is Andy Kindler's brother's niece's husband.
Ah, okay. That's why
right?
that name. Yes.
So someone in our world married into the Kindler family.
Yeah.
So there's two comedians that we know.
Yeah.
We're getting rich off Kindler's brother.
Oh, this is Rob's. He's the son-in-law of Rob. Is that?
He's the son-in-law of Rob.
Oh, okay,
the niece,
Good.
the nephew-in-law of Rob.
Okay.
So anyway, when I was at this dinner a week ago and Lisa mentioned, she's going to upstate New York. It's Bobby's birthday. I said, no, wait a minute. Doesn't Bobby Tisdale have something to do with Andy Kindler besides that they're both comedians and they know each other? And she's like, yeah. And I go, but wait, I can't put it together because I know he's not Rob's daughter's husband. And she's like, no, Rob's niece,
okay.
Andy's niece.
So it's Andy's sister's kid or one of their.
No, it's the rich one's kid.
Okay.
Rich one's daughter, right?
I guess.
It's got to be. Either way.
Okay.
None of this part is important.
He'll sort it out when he gets back, maybe.
Don't edit this out.
He might not know himself.
But the point is, don't edit this out because it's a journey.
Okay. All right.
The point is that Lisa was like, and Kindler's brother is rich. And I was like, oh, yeah, I hear about it on the podcast. And she's like, no. We're talking if they go to the Bahamas, they go private jet to the Bahamas. And I go, private jet? Really? And we talked for like 5 minutes on a street corner.
Yeah.
About how Kindler's brother does a whole private jet thing when they travel. And I was like, wow, like for the family, it was just and we were both like, why are we talking about this? Like, I'll, see you later. And literally I'm like flying home listening to the podcast and I'm hearing Andy's going on a private jet with his brother. It was just a coincidence because she wasn't referring to this trip.
Yeah.
I guess does that count as a miracle, that story?
I think it's more of a coincidence, but but we can go miracle to amp it up a little.
Well, Josh, let me blow your mind here.
All right.
I'm
not going to, by the way, before you start, yeah. I'm not going to make that gesture. Blew my mind.
Mind blown?
Yeah, so you'll just have to take my word that my mind is blown.
Oh, no. I'm going to watch your head explode. And I know you have a hat on, so it might just explode gently underneath it.
Yeah.
The word, don't blow off coincidence because the word is really coincidence. Things are coinciding. No, I heard a spiritual bullshit artist say that once, but I was like, that's actually not bad.
Yeah. But
in other words, a coincidence is not merely chance because to coincide is very deliberate, isn't it?
I don't think so. It just has to be at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's a really good point. So to coincide is not as mathematical as it sounds, you're saying?
I don't think it is, no. I think it's simply like your trip to New York coincided with Andy's trip to Utah.
God, and there can be deliberate things that coincide, correct?
You could plan things to coincide.
But you wouldn't call it that then, would you?
You wouldn't then go, what a coincidence if you planned it.
No, you wouldn't say what a coincidence, but let's say I wanted to plan my birthday at the same place that you're planning yours so that we could have a dual birthday.
So our birthdays could coincide, yes.
But we wouldn't on the invitation go, our birthdays are coinciding. We would say our birthdays were combining. Like no one would ever use the word coincide when they were talking about something deliberate. So yeah. See, well,
I think you were right that spiritual thing was bullshit.
Oh yeah, this dude was full of shit. But it was like when you say it real quick,
right?
You're like, wow, that's pretty. Like if you were
it's that or a Carlin bit. you know.
Wait, do you mean
coincidence? It's a coincidence.
Right. Then we laugh and move on, and we don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I thought you were implying that Carlin bits really don't make sense if you think about them too long.
Well, some of them don't. Some of them are just he loves the sound of the word, but you know, most of them hold up to scrutiny.
I have a sidebar about that, although I really don't even remember what I was saying before. We're going to make fun of Andy. Well, let me just say quickly about Carlin.
There's time for it all.
We're going to get back to Andy because that's going to be easy to remember. The Carlin thing will probably go away. Do you find in your old age, and I'm saying this as someone who's
in the ballpark,
so
you're
in the ballpark.
Yeah,
I'm 3 years younger. But you know, there's all different kinds of comedians, all different kinds of joke writers, blah, blah, blah.
right.
I had a friend a few years ago who was like, I don't actually like George Carlin because where are the jokes? And I'm not a fan of those people. Where are the jokes?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but he's not just ranting, right? He's not he has jokes. Let's say that.
Right.
The bits that get applause, attention, delight, that aren't quote jokes, they're not just rants like, I don't want taxes. Yay. He does like what you're saying. Like he likes the sound of the word. So
right.
I was even noticing
his
like
famous stuff bit is a perfect example of both, where it's certainly jokes, but it's also just a rhythm. Then you take another version of your stuff. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to take a small version of my stuff with me on vacation. And when I get there, I'm going to put my stuff all around. That was actually a better Carlin than I think I've ever done, by the way.
That's a really good one, actually. I think you've got the register for it. Like that could be one of your, you know what I mean? Like your signature impressions.
If I can get enough text to go with it, you know.
But you know, the bit that keeps going around every time there's an abortion debate is his great bit about you're not pro-life, you're anti-woman, you know?
Right.
So he does that whole rant where he's like, once you're born, you're fucked, you know? And it is the delightful rhythm where he's like, pre-born, you're fine. Post-born, you're fucked or whatever. And then he's like, no school lunch, no baba, no bing bong, no da-da,
right.
You know? And I'm sorry, I'm doing like a Kindler does Carlin. Right. But I've come to appreciate that rhythm because even though it's not ha funny, here's a joke, that is cool to make a rhythm, I think, right? And I feel like, I'm not saying you don't think that, but even if we want to go back further to where he started, that I feel like we're getting further and further away from understanding how much like other cultural things play into the way we deliver our comedy. And so it's like The Village in the 60s, like we're talking jazz, baby, you know, but he's got that jazz rhythm.
And he started very straight, and then, you know, and he found his rhythm once he found his hippiedom pretty much. But, you know,
that's true. I think there was a latency with all he experienced in New York, because certainly during those days he was not doing that
right
while he was living there. But I think that had to have been influenced by that somehow, right? Probably
the poetry, the beat poetry of it all. I mean, I think what I like about him, or at least what sort of makes him different, is that he sort of did away with the pretense that he was making it up on the spot, like so many modern comics.
You know, I didn't
it was always know. Very prepared with Carlin in a way that it didn't. You weren't believing he was thinking of it at the second. You know.
Now, did he ever like give into the pretense that it was made up on the spot? Did he sort of let that be thought?
I don't think so. No, I think he was very clear. Unlike myself or a lot of comics, you know, who are pretending to be conversational. You know.
Me is one of them.
Yeah, I think most of us. I think that is sort of the nature of modern stand-up. Is it's much less presentational and much more conversational. He was very presentational, and he had very prepared lists. You know, most of his jokes were lists. You know,
it always blows my mind how people can remember that stuff. Because I mean, I can remember the big punchline I'm going for,
right?
But I might say it a little differently to the lead up every time.
Yeah, me too.
But a list like that, like. Well, it's funny. So I read Kelly Carlin's book, which is really great. Did you read it?
I did, yeah.
Thought it was very sweet. What I grew to appreciate about his stuff bit was she said in the book that he actually is a guy who had his stuff.
Yeah.
And he wanted it. And that made me love it even more because I hate the kind of comedy where it's like, I'm going to make fun of what you people are doing, but I don't do it. Like, I love that it came from, oh, no, I'm a stuff guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was, this is what we do.
I guess sometimes it didn't come off like that, you know?
Well, the later he got, the more preachy he got, you know, the more, you know.
Yeah.
And I saw him, I think I even included a clip of it in the show months ago of him talking about, he took this position of, you know, I'm just here to see how the human experiment comes out. I have no stake in it.
Huh.
Yeah. So it was pretty nihilistic, you know, at the end. And I
do remember that special. That was the one with the gravestones everywhere, but it wasn't his last one.
Yeah, but his last few were just sort of, you know, and he stopped moderating the level of anger as it, you know, like he was just as angry about the way someone cut their beard as abortion, you know.
You know what's so funny is I was like, and I know I don't mean to turn this into comedy shop talk because we're still going to make fun of Andy to say, but like I was like, maybe, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but like 15 years into comedy at that point, which like, you know I didn't start as young as you.
I wasn't going to bring out my lore.
Yeah, exactly. You were on year 74, but I was still finding my voice, right? Because even though I was like, you know, people knew me around town and it was, you know, I had some good jokes or whatever. I was still finding I had my point of view, but I don't know what my voice was. And I liked the angry people. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But I wasn't putting into context that the angry guy I liked in Carlin, who just like you said, is as angry about a beard as he is like abortion. We can give him a pass because he's given us a lifetime of genius.
Right.
And also sometimes for some people it can be funny because he's so old. So, oh, look at the angry old guy. And, for others of us, it was a little bit like too much.
Well, and I believed it was kind of genuine. I believed he was that angry at the world, you know?
I did too. And, you know, comics at my age at that point and your age too, like you can't be that angry about that at 33.
Right.
And I would never think about like, what age am I? I would get inspired by someone and then let it give me permission to do that. And without thinking about like, well, it's different. And so I had a lot of yelling years.
Yeah.
When I was younger that are just like, you gotta level it, like you said, so that it doesn't just seem like someone's yelling.
Yeah. Dynamics, both emotional and volume dynamics.
I had none in my act and I'm so embarrassed by it because I don't know, but I would get, it like came from a place of joy. Like I'd get so inspired by watching stuff that I'd be like, I'm angry too. I'll just yell it. And it's like, I wish thank God I'm not I'm glad no one really knows where any of that stuff is. And most of it's just in the ether at UCB, right. But like, that is tough. I don't know what I'm saying. It's tough to modulate anger and know when it's funny and when it's like.
Well, but it must have worked out of the gate for you to stay with it. It had to. There had to be some payoff for you doing it.
No. Because I'm telling you, there was a couple years where the stuff I was saying was funny, but my delivery was yelling and angry because I thought that was funny. And so it was more like, why is this bombing? What I'm saying makes total sense. And I kept like not realizing what's the way you're saying it, freak. You know, the jokes could be funny if you would act like you're enjoying. It didn't look like someone was enjoying the art of stand up.
Right.
And I really was loving it, but I just thought it was funny to be angry.
Right.
Ironically, now I hate stand up and I look like I'm having the time of my fucking life. It's just, you know.
Dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle. Andy Kindler's Wilderness Diary.
I have arrived here in Utah at a resort, and here's how it sounds. It's nice, right? I flew here by private plane, and I'd like to finish my first update like a Jew on vacation. We took a private plane. Very nice. I could get used to that. And last night we ate.
I had a Wagyu burger. I had a starter and dessert. It's beautiful here. Or as Carol Leifer would say about her parents, beautiful, beautiful, we love it, gorgeous. Why would I do in a 1-minute update, quote Carol Leifer? It is absolutely astounding here. I can't find one person who knows who I am.
Andy Kindler's Wilderness Diary.
So anyway, Andy. All right. So here's my prelude to Andy.
Okay.
I'm not making fun of him because I was the one in my friend group that did not go anywhere during the I keep saying the pandemic. We're still in it, but 2020.
Right.
And I had friends that at one point I said to my therapist about my friends pre-vaccine. I had friends who didn't follow the science, but they followed the politics, if that makes sense, right?
Uh-huh.
So if Gavin Newsom with his hands tied in California said, fine, restaurants are open, wear a mask.
They're there.
Outdoor seating.
Yeah.
I had friends that were like, Jen, restaurants open. I'm like, yep. But no. Like, it's bad to sit outside 1 foot away from someone else. You could catch it. It's just a bad look. Right. Some nurse is driving home going, these fucking assholes. Like, can you go to the restaurant and get takeout and tip 50%? Like, none of these people I'm talking about are lacking money. Right. And I was just like, guys, can we just decide we're calling it off, writing this off. This year's not stay home. Right. And my friends did not agree. And I'd be like, let's have Zoom drinks. And they were like, no. And I was
having real drinks.
Yeah, I was like, then I guess I won't see you till 2021. And I didn't. And I said to my therapist, I think I said, this is like World War II and I'm hiding Jews and my friends are outing them.
Right. Okay.
And my therapist goes, I don't think it's quite like that. I go, no, it's exactly that. And she's like, I think you're being a little extreme. I'm like, I don't. It's a fucking global pandemic. And I'm doing the right thing and they're not. And she's like, I go, I don't care if it's literally the same as hiding Jews and outing Jews, but the feeling is the same. I will never respect them again. They're dead to me.
Right. You were putting yourself in World War II and going, those people would be outing the Jews, and they were therefore guilty of both crimes.
Oh my God, Josh. I never even thought about it that way. That part of my anger was
you pictured them outing the Jews.
Yeah, that I'm actually now reacting to a made up situation.
Right.
Oh my God, you just cracked. Okay, see, you're better. Okay, so this is so funny because my therapist goes, I have a feeling when you see them again, when everyone's vaccinated, you just won't feel that way. And the minute I saw my friends again, I was like, hey, everyone. And they were cool with me, And I said to her, God, even though they outed the Jews, I don't hate them. I didn't say that. But the reason I was so mad, you're right. It was because I was mad at a thing I made up.
Right.
I was mad at them about the pandemic, but time passed and I love them. So now I can have lunch with them.
Right. No, I mean, if you just take it at the face value, they were just fucking idiots. As opposed
and by the way, they
Jew outers.
Yeah, they did everything safe. They wore masks. They were respectful. They weren't anti-science, but they would almost have this oblivion glitch where it was like, well, it's open though, so we can go. And I'm like, yeah, but at this point, we're kind of making our own, things have to be open because there's no federal funding to shut them. We're supposed to be making our own choices. And my friends were very much like, we're not going to let the waiters and waitresses go broke. And I was like, I feel there's a middle ground. Right. But oh my God, you literally just blew my mind. No wonder Andy
keeps coming back.
Because it's true. That's why the anger I had dissipated so quickly because I was no longer angry at a fake thing. Anyway, my point being, I don't want to make fun of Andy because I get what he's saying. By the way, it's totally safe to get on a private jet if you're vaccinated, masked, go to the glamping. He's not doing anything wrong.
No, he's not.
But and I get why we make exceptions and certain things make us feel more safe. Because again, during that whole my friends are hiding Jews, I got asked to be on a game show.
Yeah.
And it paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I wasn't making any money. And I needed that money.
Well.
And I went and did the game show pre-vaccine
But
rapid
I bet
testing.
there was testing and stuff. And
Yeah, but this is before, and it was before we found out that those tests don't even really fucking work. You know what I mean? But, I made my choice of what I'll make an exception for.
well, yeah, and that was a more survival-based choice than cocktails.
Exactly. But with Andy, it's like, so I get it. Like, your family, blah, blah. Okay. But I feel like now that he did this, could he let in, okay, he doesn't have to come to my dinner party that I might throw indoors, which I'm not going to, but
Right.
he really can't meet you at your door with a mask on and hand you the fucking bagels. Like, come on, dude. Like, that's the fact that you haven't seen him face to face. Like,
I have
even one
seen
photo
him. Like the other day, I had to hand him off something at his house, but he came outside with a mask and kept distance. So he's still feeling it.
Okay, I'll give him that. But I mean, but what he says, he comes to your house and like runs away delivering.
He does, yeah, because he's a weirdo. I think it's more he's a weirdo than it is he's afraid of the thing. He's afraid to come in. But there's been a couple times during the pandemic where I've met him on the driveway.
Okay, see, these are the behind the scenes secrets that I think Thought Spiral listeners are going to freak out about. That is an exclusive that you just dropped.
All right. Okay. Well,
don't you think that you saw Andy and passed something up? We didn't know this.
Well, I mean, I think some things can be off radar, can't they?
No, you certainly don't have to.
If there's not a good story, if he, like, I've got.
I didn't say it was like this story's amazing, but just the fact itself is amazing. Like, I think people really thought you hadn't been like in the same breathing space in 2 years.
No, we have seen each other outdoors probably 5 times over the last year and a half.
I'm going to ask the listeners to weigh in.
All right.
Because I think this is breaking fucking news.
No, but I think I've even posted pictures of Andy in my driveway in his mask looking like a weird little camp counselor.
Oh, okay. Then maybe it's not. Maybe I somehow missed that. Okay, so scratch everything I said. Okay. So I guess I just want to.
I wasn't trying to portray an illusion because I still think he's a weirdo.
Oh no! That was not. You lifted no veil there.
Okay, yeah.
But I might be wrong about the earth-shattering news this is. This might be more just like, hey, in case you missed it, as the kids say, I see why am I?
Yeah. Yes.
But I feel like, I don't know, I guess I don't have anything more to make fun of him about then.
Well, I mean, he's still pretty cowardly. I mean, the only...
that's a mean word, cowardly. That's mean.
Yeah, well, he ditched me. What can I tell?
He didn't. Well, this is what's so funny is like, okay. Well, it was so funny because I had to pee right before I joined the Zoom.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was, working, doing some things. And I was like, oh shit, it's 8:59. Well, let me pee. And then I was like, oh my God, if I'm late, Josh will be mad. And then I'm like, no, I'm not Andy.
No. And Andy's, by the way, the anger is always imagined by Andy. It's really rare that I would express anger that he was late. Like really rare because it doesn't serve me. It just flusters him.
But I mean, would you be angry if someone was, not 5 minutes, I guess.
No, I'm not. I'm rarely angry if someone's late. All of this is priced in with Andy at this point. We're 4 years in. Like I'm going to be mad if he's 7 minutes late. No, but he's
7 minutes late. But
he's going to spend 7 minutes going, Josh is going to be mad at me.
Oh my God. It's so fun. Okay. So this is my making fun of Andy. So I left him a voice memo saying that his Andrew Cuomo impression is, as a huge Andy Kindler fan, like for me, this is up there with his queer eye for the straight guy bit from the original.
Sure.
Like, I don't know if you remember that bit.
I do actually, because I edited his special that he put it in.
Well, yeah, when he's like,
this is bye. I can only remember
I'll help you,
phonetically.
Mr. Sister. And then he does the like interstitial music, ding, ding. And it's like these weird noises. And then when he does the part where he's like, what if there was like Jewish guy for the whatever, like I'll put your money away. And then he does like a Fiddler on the Roof version.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so absurd. It's that absurd fun that reminds me of his Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
So I just left him a voice memo saying like, I'm such a fan. It's like my favorite thing. You could do it for like an hour and a half and I wouldn't get bored. So he left me some voice memos that you played on the show.
I played one of them on the show. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm dying. I'm like, this is the fucking funniest thing. So then he texts me, thanks, Jen. Would it be okay if I played these on the podcast?
Because he's a weirdo.
And I'm like, would it be okay if a thing you recorded, you played on your own podcast? And then I was like, no, how dare you? This is my property now and I'm suing you.
This is for me. This isn't to share with the world.
And I was like, I can't let that go for.
I left the Jen in, if you noticed.
I know, I did notice. And I was wondering if anyone was like, what? They're so used to you guys mentioning my name, which I'll get into in a minute. But like when Andy, of course, is hilarious and you can joke with him, but like over text and we don't text every day. It was like, I can't actually make that joke. That's like, no, this is my property. I'm suing you. I know he knows I'm not suing him, but he might think I'm passively aggressively joking about something I really mean.
Yeah. He can go 3 levels deep on a text. I've seen it happen.
And by the way, I only know that because I've been like that. And so I was like, kidding. Of course, it's your own fucking thing. And then we joked around about whatever. But it was like just the weirdest. I was like, what a fucking freak to ask me if he can. I mean, you already said it. It still blows my mind that he asked. But because.
But it was also very polite in its way.
But I was just going to say, I don't think it's polite.
No?
No.
Why? I think he really worried that it would bother you.
Okay, but let's keep breaking it down. Okay. Why did he worry that it would bother me?
Because he thinks too little of you. Is that what you're saying?
No, he thinks it would bother me, ... So then I'd be mad at him and then he'd be in trouble.
Right.
And then maybe he'd even have to tell you to edit it out. Like,
right. And then his theory that he's the worst person in the world would be finally proven. And
yes. Yeah. Now, so what I was going to say is Andy, the sweetest person who I know cares about me deeply. Yes. But in that moment when he's asking, is it really about me? No. Because it makes no
that's true.
sense.
That's true. He's just letting you in on the circus in his head.
He's letting me in. I'm getting a sneak peek at the circus. Is he going to be mad at this conversation or is he going to love? He's not going to listen.
No, I mean, I assume he is. He'll love it.
I mean, I know he's listening. Not that he listened to the podcast.
He won't listen to the first hour, but he'll listen to this hour.
No. Of course not. But do you think he'll be, he won't be mad, right? No, I'm doing it.
No.
Okay.
Because, he knows it's you. He knows it's me. What the fuck else are we going to do?
Do you know what the biggest irony is going to be, Josh?
What's that?
And you know this is going to happen in your life. You're going to die before Andy.
Oh, I'm so certain of that.
And he's going to be at your deathbed trying not to make it about how now he's freaking out that you won't be at his deathbed because you're going to be a calming force.
Yeah, that's all that I think he'll want to be, but he won't be let in.
You're not going to let him into your deathbed?
No. Why would I want that?
Wait, are you joking right now?
Yes,
because your face is okay.
Of course,
I just want the audience to know.
You can kind of see me. I look like I'm like having my identity protected for a news story. I'm kind of backlit there.
There you go. I do feel like I'm talking to someone whose voice should be like. That's not a good.
That's okay.
That sounded like Cosby with a cold.
People knew what you were doing.
They knew what I was trying. Yeah. But so you're joking.
Yeah.
How many people will you let into your deathbed room? Let's just pretend it's not COVID. It's back in the old days when you could wall to wall people.
Well, I mean, how many people would I let in, or how many people do I expect?
No, I mean,
I think everyone gets in if they come. You show up at my deathbed.
Really?
Yeah. Unless you're, a process server.
Well, I might be by then.
But I believe if you're nice enough to come to my deathbed, sure, come on in.
All right. Well, let me take it this way. Let's say, I don't know how long the deathbed's lasting.
Right.
So I think of deathbed as a colloquial way of saying final moment. So you're probably talking more like the whole week of hospice But final moments,
I don't want Andy there.
Final
No,
moments.
I don't want Andy there. I want my wife. It's my wife and hope, my step.
Can he stand in the corner and look at you say shit to your wife?
We could set up a closed circuit for him. But that's the best.
He has to be over
that's the best
camera?
I can do. That's the best I can do.
I'd rather
moment
just
of
have him
death,
in the
I just
corner.
don't need that. I don't need the risk there.
The risk?
The risk, yeah, he could truly make it about himself at the wrong moment.
What if there's someone? What if I'm in the corner with Andy?
And then I die angry and I go to hell.
Okay,
I'm
but
not
what
sure
if
that's
I'm
how
in
it
the
works,
corner
but-
with Andy helping? No, I don't think it works that way. I don't think you can go to hell last minute
No.
based on how you behaved on your deathbed.
Okay.
That's some Jewish shit. Like I know Jewish people don't have the afterlife.
We do, but it's very vague.
It's vague.
Yeah. It's like you sit at God's feet and learn kind of a thing. It's
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, with Catholics, we don't worry that anything we do in our deathbed will change our heaven or hell
yeah.
designation. It's, as my mother used to say to me, like we used to walk around the north end of Boston, which is like the mafia headquarters, you know?
Right.
And she would, we didn't even live in Boston. I mean, we were in the suburbs, but it was like 20 minutes to the city. And we'd go there for great food and to look around, very historic. And she'd go, all the mafia people are buried here. And, a lot of them, if you see a lot of Italian men wearing crosses, they are very religious, even though I bet a lot of people buried here have killed people. But as long as in their life they ask to be forgiven, it's okay. So that's like Catholics, like do whatevs.
Right.
At some point before you die, it doesn't have to be last minute. It has to be forgiven.
Right.
And you'll go to heaven.
Yeah.
So
which I've had a little trouble buying into
I buy nothing of it, but I think it's funny when like it's like we don't have that worry in Catholicism. Like, oh my God, what if the last minute on my deathbed I have an emotion that isn't proper? It's like,
right.
we were allowed to murder and say sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, my thing isn't really Jewish. My thing is my own personal sort of thing of, I don't really believe in an afterlife very much, but I do very much believe that your life, the moment of death is sort of the measure of your life, which still has its own bullshit romanticism to it.
Which is fine. So let me ask you this, though, because now I'm fascinated. So the moment of your death is the measure of your life.
And I don't mean it that literally, but I just mean the ability to die where regret isn't the prevalent feeling,
Sure. You want the last feeling you have, should something continue into the ether, what if the last feeling you have is the feeling that is the most prominent in the ether? Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite that even spiritual even. I think it's more just, the death, I've witnessed a bunch of deaths and it always involves a moment of the person having to sort of let go.
Oof.
And that to me, and because I've witnessed it, I can picture myself at that moment.
Right.
And so I want to be able to let go fairly easily.
And you don't think there's a way that you can let go of life while being angry at Andy?
I think it'll be harder. I think
it might make you want to go quicker.
I'll want to, but he'll be in my way, is my point.
It's so funny. I think of it like, I'll give you an example that's not spiritual. On my birthday last year, my birthday's in August, so pandemic birthday, I did this thing, which, didn't turn out to be, I feel like I did it for other people. I did this, like, I'm not going to go anywhere. I don't even want to sit outside. Because at that point, it was like, to be quite honest, I'm not an anti-masker by any means, but we can all agree that it's not fun to wear a mask.
Yes, I think
so. I didn't feel like having a birthday party, in a yard 6 feet apart with masks on. It was like, how about I just do whatever I want on my birthday? And all I wanted to do was order a ton of food and eat cupcakes and drink wine.
Yeah.
And I was like, everyone's going to be like, but what did you do? Blah, blah. So I was like, fine, I'll do a thing. And I told 10 friends, let's do FaceTimes, half hour each. We'll catch up.
Yeah.
And I did that throughout the day. And then my family, and that's a lot.
Did you do a cupcake each one?
I mean, basically.
Yeah.
Like 12. I did have like a dozen. But it was like eating. Anyway, my point is that starts to add up. And of course, I sent an email out to people saying, this does correlate to your death thing. I sent an email out to people saying, sign up for the time you want to have the FaceTime birthday party with me. And I did it all separate because all my friends are all separate. They don't all know each other or whatever. Everyone wanted the later in the day stuff. So I had like rolling calls from like 4 to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like having a drink on each one. So I'm like getting slowly drunk without realizing it. And I'm talking. So all that food is kind of like not being eaten.
Right.
And I just get so drunk that I fucking throw up.
On a call?
What?
On a call? Or were you able?
No, I thought you said on alcohol. I was like, yes, Josh, on alcohol. No.
Get it.
No, later. It was one of those, I'm done with the call and then I eat all the food that I'd been waiting to eat.
Right.
And then I'm laying on the couch. I pass out on the couch in the middle of the night or, at midnight, and I wake up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. to pee. And then you have that feeling that's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, this feeling won't be relieved unless I throw up.
Right.
And I'm not even close to throw up time. It's going to be like an hour.
Oh, really?
That feeling?
You can feel it that far out. That's pretty good.
Once in a while you go, it's not food poisoning. I don't have the flu, but it's too late. But I got to just wait.
The die is cast, yes.
Yeah. And so it was that. I 4 a.m. I'm just like,
happy birthday to me. Happy
if I had any talent, I would have spelled it out and puked in the toilet bowl. So I says to myself, it is now after midnight. It is the first day of 46.
Yeah.
Is this the year? Is this what the year is now? Because you
right, yes.
threw up, hung over like a child. Did you just sort of did you just set the die's been cast? Did you just...
This is the tone for this year.
This is the tone. Is that kind of what you mean on the deathbed thing?
I guess it is. The finer point I put on any of my bullshit theories, they all sort of melt away, I gotta say.
It's like coincidence. It's best to just let it go.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that sounded like perfect bullshit in my head when I thought it. Then I had to say it. Dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle Andy Kindler's Wilderness Diary.
Hi, this is Andy. This is my update too. Trying to keep my voice down. I don't want anybody in the spa to get exercise. Or is the word exercise? I just had a hot stone massage. Unbelievable. Unfortunately, I'm in the emergency room of the Utah State Penitentiary Hospital. I don't want to say the stones were too hot, but can someone finish the joke? Because I'm exhausted. The rain was beautiful yesterday. We are going, my wife is here, so don't even start with me. What does that mean? We're going to be going back to the room after the massages to sleep, and we've already had a meal. This is going to be very annoying because Josh doesn't like sound, doesn't like that kind of sound.
Andy Kindler's Wilderness Diary.
Tell me more. What's new? I want to get your opinion on something.
What's that?
I have 2 things I desperately need your opinion on because one thing I need your opinion on and one thing we don't agree on. And you're the only person I respect to talk me out of it.
Wow. I'm flattered and puzzled at the same time.
Yeah. Well, the first one I want to know is, did you watch the LuLaRoe docuseries?
I did. Yes.
Okay. You are my favorite new documentarian, meaning new, not someone we've known for 30 years.
Thank you.
Your Michael J. Barr thing, I told everyone I know to watch.
Thank you.
I know 3 people. Two of them are you and Andy. Just kidding. No, but
And neither of us watched.
but I just loved it. Now, and it was hot off right after I watched yours. I had just watched this piece of shit one.
Yeah.
That the topic could have been so goddamn good, but the documentarian made it all about her.
Yeah.
I think I wrote you about this. The girl whose parents were Jewish and they owned a
The porn store one.
porn store in Sunset Strip.
Yeah, exactly. And it was I hated it for the same reason.
What a wonderful topic from 90 angles. And her
Right.
angle was, I've always wanted to make documentaries. Here's a video of me as a kid with a camera. Oh,
Right.
for fuck's sake.
Yes.
Anyway, I just loved your not that approach to it. But I am a fan of the docuseries. And because I listen to your podcast, you've influenced me now to, and it's fine. I ain't mad about it. You've really gotten me to look more critically at docuseries.
Yeah.
And I hate most of them now, where I think in the past, without your voice in my head, I wouldn't have even thought about it. And I'm almost intolerant of them at this point because
That makes me so happy.
especially the LuLaRoe, especially that one.
Yeah.
That could have been a 70-minute document. It is.
Absolutely, it could have.
Tell me everything you hated about it. I want to see if we agree.
Well, there was certainly that. The fact that there just wasn't enough story. I hated a lot about it. I think there was like 3 women in it that sort of made it worthwhile.
So, like the ones that were selling shit.
Some that were just selling shit. The intake woman, the black woman who didn't want to go on the cruise, was fantastic.
The part where she's like, yeah, so they wanted me to go on a cruise and, it's just like a bunch of white people and me on a boat. Like, I'm not doing it. And you could tell the person interviewing her did not get what that meant.
Right.
And they probably thought it meant something specific. Like, they're probably reeling in their head, trying to think back to like, was there something like about, history? And she's just like, I don't want to be stuck with white people. Like, you're fucking the worst.
Right. In the middle of the ocean.
Yes. And I'm like, pause right there. Change the entire documentary and make it about why she doesn't want to be on a boat with white people and let her just talk for 90 minutes. That's what I want to watch.
Right.
I don't care about the fucking leggings anymore.
No. And there wasn't enough story to support 2 episodes, like you said. It was because it was such a straight line from massive success to totally fucking people over,
Well, here's what I didn't get too. The 2 people, the
husband and wife.
Oh my God. They're like the most amazing characters. They're very much like that. What's that other documentary from years ago? Great question. Queen of Versailles, it kind of had that.
Right. Yeah. And they had the shooting of them. They had sort of an Errol Morris quality almost to the way they were shot too.
Totally. But the thing is, they didn't have any self-awareness, so you can't go too far with them. I'm not going to blame anyone for not making them more the focus because they're insane, like literally just insane.
But they're also evil,
Yeah. But they're like charmingly, insanely evil.
Right.
And you can't be like, no, but seriously, guys, like, look what you're doing. You're not going to hard hit them, but you're going to get this sort of Lisa Kudrow in the comeback vibe from them the whole time, where they're trying to micromanage their image the whole time. You're not going to get anything.
Right.
And that was what was so frustrating, is they're clearly the most interesting people here because they're psychotic.
Yeah.
There's no world where they could ever be revealed.
They clearly hate each other too.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. When he talks, watch her face. Because she's trying to be the Mormon perfect wife.
Yeah.
But you can tell she has this sort of facial eye roll whenever he gets going.
Well, I would say,
and I just detected that sort of the years of coexisting hatred had set in between the two of them.
It's funny I didn't pick up on that
publicly
because
they have to be a loving couple because that's the symbol of the company.
It's so funny I didn't pick up on that because I think in general, heterosexual couples, woman to man, do have that like mild disdain at just men, you know what I mean?
That
Like,
sort of mansplain wince.
well, yeah, just sort of like, God, I love you, but you are part of this group. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, ugh, like there must be some moments in the day where it's just like, I know you're one of those. Well, I'm not saying like I've never been in a relationship, but I'm just saying like there are sometimes moments in a day as a woman where you're like, I love you. Even with friendship, it's like, I love you, but you're one of those. And sometimes that look, you don't even know it's happening, comes over your face.
Right.
Right. And I'm sure it's like my black friends do it with me. Like, we love you.
Right.
She's doing her white thing right now. And so it's just funny that like in general, I believe every woman feels that way for at least 5 seconds towards their husband. And it's funny that I did not pick up on that because, maybe because I was multitasking while I was watching because I couldn't hook into anything. The only thing I could hook into was why had I never heard of these leggings?
Because it is to me, I was actually probably more into it than most docuseries because I was so just fascinated by this goyish underworld that I, normally wouldn't have.
Goyish, isn't it?
It is the most goyish thing I've ever seen in my life, these people. And their clothes.
You know what's so funny is like, there was part of me that was like, if it was real, like, I mean, if it was true and it wasn't multi-level marketing and a pyramid and that moment where you're like, oh my God, I have these fun leggings and I'm setting up a little store in my house. Fun.
Sure. Yeah. And 100,000 women had that moment.
Yeah. You can't.
And the hook was
many.
set. Yeah.
But then when some people are like, I sold $100,000 worth of leggings in a day. I'm like, I can't even get 2 people to join my fucking Patreon. Like, what? Should I give out leggings? Like, who knew? So,
yeah, I mean, to me, you just go, all right, the baseline interest level of these people's lives that you would go to a legging party.
Yeah.
And leave with leggings.
Well, here's what I don't get, though, Josh. We weren't children when this phenomenon happened. We were adults out in the world.
Right.
Fucking comedians looking at people. I mean, seeing more people in a day than most people do.
Yeah.
And it's not like it was a documentary about a pyramid scheme where people sold little dolls that you keep in your house. These are leggings and skirts and things that women wear out and about. And I swear to God, in my life, I've never seen it, even in a stranger in an airport wearing it. Like, I've never. But you might have. You
might have. There's so many patterns. There's new patterns every week, Jen. There's new patterns every week.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about any pattern at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember. Do you remember stirrup pants?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I remember a time seeing everyone wearing them.
Yeah.
We got to bring those back, by the way, if you want to start an MLM with me.
All right. Okay. Yes.
But I don't remember seeing leggings with patterns everywhere. I mean, I just don't. Any pattern.
Yeah, I don't either. I remember the man version, which was years earlier with Zubas. Do you remember those? Those weird fucking bad wrestling pants looking things?
Yes!
That was the man version of Lulu.
And they didn't even look comfortable because they're not stretchy, right? They look like they were like a hard linen almost.
No, I think they were pretty stretchy because looking at the guys who wore them, they were wearing stretchy things.
Wouldn't that cling to your balls?
So I think they were billowy. I think they were quite billowy.
They were so billowy.
Yeah.
It's hard to billow and stretch, though, at the same time.
I think that was the magic of Zubas, frankly.
Do you want to start a company with me? Be dead honest. And
not a clothing company, but yes.
Well, wait a minute. You didn't hear the company yet.
I'm just saying, if it's a clothing company, I'm
if it's a clothing company, yes or no?
I'm reticent to do a clothing company.
Okay, well, see, how can I start a business with someone who
I saw?
But you can see on my end, how would I, now I don't even want to tell you the idea, because if I'm going to start a business with someone and their first answer is, I'm not even going to fucking hear you out first before I have doubts.
Oh, I don't think I promoted myself as a great partner, did I?
You didn't, but you might regret it after you hear the idea.
I'm just saying I have reticence. Because of the whole LuLaRoe experience, clothing companies. I've got a real issue.
Well, this is where I think you need to understand that I didn't say a multi-level marketing company.
Okay. All right.
I said a clothing company.
That's a start. That's good.
Well, now I forget the joke because it had to do with what I was saying. Stretchy and billowy. That's the joke that I was going. That I failed. Please edit this in twice.
I'll put it on a loop.
But imagine stretchy and billowy, hard to go for. Men and women alike love it, and all the genders.
The women apparently like the snug. They don't like the billowy, apparently, or the leggings.
I hate a snug. I don't want someone looking at the outline of my butt.
Well, but isn't that what leggings are?
It sure is, but a lot of times you wear like a long shirt over it.
Sure.
You know?
A long, highly patterned shirt that isn't necessarily the same crazy pattern as the leggings.
You betcha. Clashing patterns.
I remember years ago, Liz Winstead came to town, and she was doing, I think, Comic Strip Live that night. This is how long ago it was.
Oh, yeah. Is that even there
this
anymore?
This is like 1993 or something,
okay.
94. And she had me driving or literally all over L.A. looking for a pair of leggings for that show that night. And she could not find the perfect leggings.
Wait, what?
We were better friends at the time, so I was willing to.
It wasn't an opening act thing. It was like a friendship thing.
It was a friendship thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's better.
Minneapolis homies.
Driving to find the perfect leggings.
Yeah, she wanted and she was wearing a longer shirt over them for Comic Strip Live to be.
But she's a very funky dressing woman, so I'm like shocked that she had a leggings face.
This was
funky isn't cool.
Well, I think that's what she was. Maybe she was so ahead of her time in 1994 that they just weren't available.
It's true. I don't know what I'm talking about in 94. I don't even remember what the fuck was going on. I mean, that is...
Other people were wearing stirrup pants and she was in leggings, I think.
Can you imagine if you, at that moment, were like, oh my God, like you had heard about LuLaRoe and you were like, I'm not getting into this shit like you would have as a man. But,
right.
But then like Liz is looking for leggings and you're like, wait, this is a sign. This is a coincidence. Hello, a miracle, not necessarily religious.
And then a tight panted angel came down from heaven and showed me the way.
And then you fucking started your own shop. And women comics from all over came to town to get the perfect leggings.
That's right. He knows. He just knows.
He just gets it.
Dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle. Andy Kindler's Wilderness Diary.
Everybody went to the lake today, and by everybody, I mean my brother and his wife Sydney, and they're on the lake right now, Lake Powell. I'm with Susan, and we're not in a canoe, and we're not on a kayak, but let me tell you something. Don't let that kid you into thinking that we're not enjoying this beautiful vacation. You see how I paused there? I wanted you to hear. That's what nature sounds like. It sounds like nothing. That's the beauty of it. Wow. And I'm looking at something beautiful right now. And yet, is it working?
Andy Kindler's Wilderness Diary.
Okay.
You're mad at me about Ted Lasso, I think was what you wanted to get to.
Here's the thing. I'm not very I like what I like.
Right. Me too.
Sometimes it's critically acclaimed and genius, and sometimes it's stupid shit.
Right.
And I can't tell you why I like it. That's why I never recommend things to people. I can only speak in the 12-step tradition of this is my story and why I like it. And if you hear something you relate to, great. But I hate people like, dude, you got to watch this.
No. The only thing I've proselytized about recently is the documentary Red Dog, which I still think everyone should watch.
Documentary of what?
It's called Red Dog.
Red Dog. What's that about?
It's about this group of sort of white trash biker people. It's a kid telling the story of growing up among these white trash biker people. His mom being the main interview.
Oh yeah, I heard you talk about this on the podcast.
Yeah, it's really it's a great.
I think anything like documentary, like I don't get as annoyed when people proselytize about that.
Yeah, because at least people will get something from a doc.
Yeah, you go, well, here's a thing you can learn about, and that does interest me. But I'll watch documentaries about things that don't interest me.
Yeah,
to learn.
Like leggings.
Like fucking leggings. But like fiction, I'm like, I either fall in love or I don't. It's to me as intimate and strange as falling in love in real life with people.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, no, watch this show, I want to go, okay, if you're going to keep doing that to me, then I get to go to your house and go, no, leave your husband. I got a guy for you. No, leave him.
All
no,
right.
I'm telling you,
It's
I know
that
the
personal.
guy for you. It's that personal. It's the same as my friends who went to a restaurant during COVID.
Right.
They gave up the
Right.
juice. Yeah. But I get so crazy where I'm like, I would never tell anyone to watch anything. I might go crazy going, I love this thing. I wish everyone did. For me recently, it was The Good Lord Bird. I wish everyone loved it as much as I did.
Didn't say.
I don't know if you'd like it, but I have to tell you, I love it so much.
Good.
There you go.
There you go. That will ring in my head next time I have the opportunity, and that will make me lean more towards it.
It just depends on what you like and what you need, but I will say it's objectively well made.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's very funny and it's interesting and different and based on true story-ish. So whatever. But this Ted Lasso. So here's the thing. During the pandemic, I had a few friends text me out of the blue. If you need a pick-me-up, watch Ted Lasso. And I think it was that.
Yeah.
And that's that's in my DNA now.
Right.
And I'm going to need 9 years of therapy for me to not process it. So it's like, first of all, I guess everyone has different ideas about pick-me-ups.
Uh-huh.
I've never related to anyone that's come up to me after a comedy show and gone, oh, I was in such a bad mood today, and then I came to see comedy. I mean, I'm lying. Comedy makes me laugh, but I don't seek it out.
Right.
If it happens, great. I'm not joking when I say documentaries about Nazis are my comfort food.
Okay.
Like, I just only want to watch the most obscure, I don't even know if they're well made, just some 1 hour weird thing on Amazon that had been on PBS at one time about a Nazi hunter that found someone in Argentina and shot him in the face. Like, that's what I want to watch. I don't know if you saw the movie 12th Man. It's like a true story of a guy that was surviving alone in the woods and running from the Nazis. It's a true story, but it's a biopic.
No.
I think you might actually like it.
Okay.
But anyway, the point is, it's stuff like that. So when someone goes, if you want to pick me up, I'm already like, why don't you send me a text that just says basic, normal.
Right.
Whatever. And so I tried to watch Ted Lasso, but I had already this instruction in my head of how I'm supposed to feel. If you had told me nothing about, not you, but
right.
I already don't like Jason Sudeikis. Is nothing against him.
Right.
But you know how some people, and I was joking with you about this, but I'm serious. I know some of your listeners do not like me. I just rub them the wrong way.
Yeah.
That is fine. I get it.
Right.
It's a spiritual, intimate thing. In the same way that they're just never going to listen to this because they're just like, I just don't like her. Like, God bless. That's how I feel about Jason Sudeikis. I don't want to look at his face. I don't give a fuck. He's not, I can't. I don't care sports. I get it. There are some things I can key into that make me emotional with sports.
All right.
Soccer, big trigger for me. Don't care.
This sounds like a terrible show for you to watch.
Right. Then you add in, it's like lots of dudes, like, read The Room right now with the patriarchy, just like, I don't care about a nice, white, straight dude who's doing something sports and he's nice. And I don't want nice. I live in an evil fucking world.
Right.
And I want to watch Nazis get shot in ways that violate international law, but it's the right thing to do. Okay.
Okay.
And if I accidentally feel good, that's great if I'm watching a sitcom that makes me laugh. But it's it's not TV, it's the commercials that get me. It's not the show, it's the people that like it that get me.
Right.
I didn't know I wasn't allowed to say, And then here come everyone going crazy on Twitter. And I look, these aren't trolls. These are my closest friends.
Right.
Everyone's going nuts as though I'm taking their children out of their arms.
Yeah. And I'm
So I
with you
say
there.
I say to you, how at this point, with how much it's been sullied, could I enjoy this show? And then I hear you, who I think aesthetically we agree on things, and even things I don't have the same taste in you as. I respect your taste.
Yeah. I have to. Okay, I'll let you finish. But
Okay, but then I hear you like this show, and I go, what? I know you weren't like proselytizing about the show, but I didn't even hear any I can't believe it or any. What's happening? What am I wrong? Do I need to watch it? Tell me.
you do not
You
need.
tell me
you
why.
Absolutely, you 100% do not have to watch it. And
because I was going to ask you to make a case because
no, I
don't
can't make a
believe your
case for it. I can't make a case for it. And in fact, and the fact that I binged it,
yeah,
was imperative. I think.
imperative to liking it.
Imperative to liking it, yeah. Because I found the further away I got from it, the more it fell apart to me. But what I really liked about it, and this I still stand by, is that they made this very distinct creative decision to do the positive thing, and did it in an earnest and earned way, I thought.
You think earned? Okay.
I did. I mean, obviously it's the premise of the show is this guy, But,
yeah.
But
I'm not challenging. I only got through the pilot, so I just find it interesting.
And I think that I think had I stopped at the pilot, I wouldn't have But it was, what I'm saying is, it was a mood I kind of got caught up into, and I think I said on this show, when I tried to revisit it for second season, the magic was gone. I started 5 minutes and I was like, nah, I don't feel like it.
It's sort of like you meet someone,
but it was it was a candy binge.
Yes.
And it worked as that. But had I had to watch it a week at a time, the binge would not have lasted, because I got their rhythm, and it's like, okay, everyone is going to be introduced as a stereotype, and then they're going to subvert your expectations of what that stereotype is. But
let me ask you about the positive candy binge part of it. Is the positivity at all presented in a unique way, or is it positivity?
It is.
Okay.
It's presented in a way that it is this man it's not like it's this man making an out loud choice to be positive. So it's not like they're just it's ingrained in the story of the show. So
do you get a sense that it's hard for him to be positive?
I don't. I get the sense that he's wired that way.
He's wired to be positive?
Yes.
That's the part that blows my mind that works.
Well, because they made a real character. I mean, that's not a real character in the sense that it's a real person in the world, but it was a character, a consistent, fully drawn out character doing this.
Like a Fred Rogers, if you will?
I mean, it's more self-aware. I mean, I can't explain it because, like I said, it started to dissolve to me. But but what I felt was that there was a consistency to what they were trying to do, which I admire over the course, especially of a first season of a show.
It's funny though, whenever someone says to me, and this is not what you were saying, but I didn't like Queen's Gambit either. Yeah.
I watched, my wife watched it, and I popped in and out enough to go, I'm not going to like this.
Yeah, no. And when people were like, no, you got to get past the first 2 episodes. What I always say to people on that is, what you're trying to say is, it's still the same show after the pilot. They just get better at doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if I already don't like what they're doing, I promise you I won't like episode 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Because I think that showed the Good Lord Bird that I love. The pilot is incredible the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then there's this kind of boring, to me, I don't know, a little boredom in like 10 minutes of it. And then the last episodes really pick up the intensity.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, oh, it's not good, it gets better. I'm saying if you hook in immediately, you're going to love this show. There's just going to be parts here and there that you're like, oh, I'm a little bored.
Right.
And so I feel like people are not ever saying it correctly when they're like, no, it gets better. It's like, no, it gets better at what it is. I already don't like what it is.
Right. Yeah, I'm somewhere in between, I guess. There's been enough shows where it's like I've stuck it out through 2 episodes in order to let enough loose ends come together in episode, like what they were building.
Yeah.
What didn't start to have its own momentum until a few episodes in. But that's not always the case. And I agree with you. If you just don't like the first episode, you're an idiot to watch episode 2, But
maybe, I keep thinking like, just try it.
Yeah, but if there's like something about the first episode, then as a TV writer, I'm like, yeah, you do get better because you learn your actors and you start writing for them, and shows get better.
I've worked on shows that people hate, namely Andy Kindler has hated Chelsea lately and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, 2 of my biggest jobs,
right?
And hates it.
Yeah.
And there's no one I love more than Andy, and I don't care he hates it.
And he loves
you.
So
exactly. It's like we love what we love and we hate what we hate, and we can't explain it and blah blah blah. Yeah. And you know what? There is stuff about both shows that if I explain to Andy in an academic, he's taking a fucking late night class,
right?
He would be like, "Oh, I appreciate what you're saying." It still doesn't mean he's going to like the show, though.
Right? No, that's right.
And so, but if you had to academic me right now,
yeah,
tell me why I should watch the second. Tell me why I should move past the pilot of Ted Lasso and watch it. Tell me. Give me a lecture.
Well, it won't be.
What will I learn as a writer for TV?
I think you'll learn about consistency of tone. I think, which is something in comedy for sure.
Okay.
It's a bunch of people, it isn't just a male sports show. It actually is actually a pretty women-centric show ultimately.
That's what I've heard. What I've heard.
But I'm not selling it because of that, but I'm telling you that how you described your version of it.
Yeah, incorrect.
Isn't it exactly what it pans out to be? But
yeah. That's what people have told me.
It is the antidote to Twitter. It is people trying to find a way to understand one another and exist in that way, as opposed to attacking each other and denigrating them. It is very much a show about people supporting each other in various ways. I
like that.
Which is particularly in our time, a refreshing vibe.
Okay, I like that. But let me say this.
Okay.
This is where I always go back to with my argument with and I know I just asked you to sell me.
Yeah, you did.
And you did sell me with that. Because it's not quite the way other people are putting it, and what you're saying is smart. The thing is, like, my friends that are all into Star Wars and all that, and I've seen the movies as a kid, and and I know a little more about the latest. It's just not my thing,
Yeah.
As much as I hate Woody Allen now, like, I'd still rather watch Annie Hall than Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Some people are like, no. But Return of the Jedi, there's romance and there's this. I go, yeah, but I don't need costumes and Wookiees and swords. Just give me a coffee shop in New York.
Right.
So people trying to understand and do better and be anti-Twitter, I just don't want to see it on a soccer field, even with women. I want just sit in a coffee shop and do it. Like, I can't get past my own boring aesthetic of what I like to look at.
Right. Well,
although I do like Stranger Things, you never know with me what I like, but there's something I can't get past with sport. I can't get past the sports.
Well, but I don't think you should have to. I think I'm not saying you should watch it.
I know. I just wanted you to. I want to hear your voice in my head.
Yeah.
The next time there's nothing else on, and I go, why do I do this? I want Elvis in my head going, what's about people trying to be better? Right. Instead of someone on Twitter going, it's amazing. Because I've heard that about Soul Cycle. And this to me is the Soul Cycle of television.
It's just every fucking, I can't get behind anybody who has a violent reaction to I didn't like blank.
try not to like shit on TV shows on Twitter because I know that like, it's like, it's a fucking job. You sit in the writer's room and even like the shittiest shit you've written on, if the math of what you wrote works out, you're like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes all you can do is make the best episode of a shitty show,
Yeah, and
I've made several
actually,
of those in my life.
It feels good. And it's like, it feels completed.
Yes. It
but
feels
it's like,
professional.
Yeah, you're like, I showed up, I did a thing. And so I don't mean ever to take away anything from anyone. It's like, I'm almost compartmentalizing when I criticize TV. I'm just going like, oh, by the way, speaking of, I just lost my train of thought. I fucking spent way too much time that I didn't have Googling about the actor. I found no information is the end of the story. I tried to find information about the Burbank Group ad and the actors in it. So I wanted to bring something like that exciting.
Some breakthroughs there. Yeah.
They're on lockdown, that whole thing.
Yeah. Well,
but I was thinking that, just a little something for you and your listeners. Tonight is, I get my period like clockwork because I'm on the pill.
Yeah.
And, to the listeners who don't understand what that means, my hormones are very regulated. So when it's the week of my period, I get it Wednesday mornings.
Yeah. Really? That is clockwork.
It's that regulated.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm in the end times now of the lady cycle.
Right. Congratulations.
A couple years from now, it'll all be over.
Yeah.
But my point is the night before is usually my biggest night of PMS.
Yeah.
It's not the bitchy PMS, it's the emotional PMS.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it tonight, but a little bit. It's usually the like crying at, like literally if I saw a stuffed animal abandoned on the street, I'd start sobbing.
Yes.
So my point is that's how that Burbank Group commercial makes me feel that you guys talk about.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to make fun of it because it's so ridiculous. And then this bizarre empathy thing kicks in that feels almost as intense as a hormonal PMS where I literally could cry. And I'm like, I hope everyone in the ad is doing okay. I hope they're in the after SAG union. I'm not being mean to them. Right. Everyone's doing their best. Like, but God, I want to make fun of it, but it hurts so much to make fun of it that like, I actually feel really sad when I do. Do you really?
Well, all I can say to that is, well, aren't you sweet? Dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle dum diddle. Andy Kindler's Wilderness Diary.
I just had a 105-minute grounding massage. Oh my goodness gracious. And
hey everyone, check out Jen Kirkman's new podcast, Anxiety Bites. Available wherever podcasts are podcasted. Who better to guide you through anxiety than Jen Kirkman and a host of experts? Is a topic near and dear to her central nervous system. Thanks again, Jen, for joining us. See you next week.